Hi, I'm Shalina Tobin, aka Posh Nosh Gal. Today I'm joined by one of the world's most popular chefs, Michel Roux Jr. Chef Michel has been awarded 2 Michelin stars and runs several highly successful London restaurants and is nicknamed the godfather of modern restaurant cuisine. Bonjour, Chef Michel, ça va?
Ça va très bien, merci. It's great to be able to do this.
We're so pleased that you're able to join us today. It's such unusual times that we're living in. How are you keeping yourself busy?
Well, guess what? I'm doing a lot of cooking.
Great.
A lot of cooking, the occasional drink, a bit of running, bit of sport, obviously, and some lovely walks. In fact, lots of walks. I didn't realise because I live in Clapham in South London. I'm discovering lots of different places, lots of parks, lots of amazing architecture, some churches that I've never seen before. Just 10 minutes walk from here, from where I live. So yeah, it's nice actually. That's the positive side.
Exploring London again, exploring where you
Yeah.
live. And I hear you're an avid marathon runner. Have you been running
Mm.
marathons while you've been up?
Uh, Yeah, no, my knees are not what they used to be, so I don't run any marathon. I've run 21 so far, and yeah, I still run, still enjoy it, and physical activity is very important, not just for physical health, but also for mental health, and that's super important.
Absolutely. But 21's enough and you're stopping there.
Yeah, I think so.
So how will this current crisis change the restaurant industry moving forward?
Gosh, I think the restaurant industry and eating out or socializing in big groups will take a long time to come back to what we deem as normal.
Absolutely.
In fact, in many respects, I think we will never go back to that sort of era of mass gatherings in the same way. But we've got to stay positive. The restaurant industry or the hospitality industry is very positive, and it's joyful, and in its very essence is about having fun and about welcoming our guests and making them have wonderful experiences. So we have to work together. It's going to be very difficult, very tough. There will be casualties, sadly. Some restaurants and some pubs will not be able to get through this. But we've got to stay positive, and we've got to believe in ourselves and work together as an industry.
Yeah, great to know you're keeping your positivity up. And there's a lot of restaurants which have changed their model and have started doing online deliveries. Do you think that they'll continue that moving forward?
Yes, definitely, because if we look at what's happening in Asia at the moment, and in France, very soon they will be reopening restaurants in France. So what they are doing is something that we've got to keep an eye on very closely, and maybe be able to learn from that. And a lot of restaurants are doing delivery service, are doing meals at home for people who want to have private parties at home. So a chef could go there, for example. I could go there, cook the meal, and we could have maybe one person serving. So it's very minimal amount of socializing, and all the time respecting social distancing and hygiene rules. So there are a lot of other business models to run alongside the restaurant. And I think we're going to have to do that, because if we are limited to, say, 50% of our business through social distancing, then we won't be able to survive. So there will have to be other revenue streams.
Interesting. Well, I'll be booking a date with you for you to come over to my place and cook first.
I'll be over there in a flash.
Brilliant. So let's talk more about you. Clearly, you've been destined to be a chef and your skills have been nurtured since you were a child. Who have been the biggest influences in your career?
Gosh, well, I mean, it's got to be my father and my uncle, really. I mean, they're at the top of the list, because great role models, great teachers, and that's very important. In our industry, we need people that you can look up to, and people who are prepared to teach and to inspire. So it's got to be the famous Roux brothers.
Yeah, well, speaking of the famous Roux brothers, my husband's very first cookbook,
Yay!
he got in the 80s. It's
Oh, that's a great
Inspired
book.
Our Kitchen. And actually, my very first cookbook was
Yay!
yours. So, you know, your recipes have been a massive inspiration for us. Yeah, so we love it. How much time do you spend cooking versus running the business?
So less and less now because the business has grown and I've got a fantastic team and I'm getting to a certain age where I you know I don't want to be behind the stove 8 hours a day, although I still do occasionally go there and I love being in the kitchen. And I'm still you know still there, still tasting the dishes, still tasting the sauces, and creating dishes with my team. You know, my head chef Rachel, for example, at Le Gavroche, and Gaetano, the head chef there, and at the Langham that you know very well, Chris King and his team there. So yeah, it's a collaboration, and I think that's very important as well. And that's you know that I've learned from my father and my uncle as well. It's a collaboration, it's teamwork, and it's working with your team.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're such amazing establishments. We love Roux at the Landau. We've been there many times, as you
Mm.
know. So when you look back over your time in the industry, what are the things that make you feel the most proud?
Gosh, it's got to be my daughter, hasn't it? I mean, you know, she is an incredible young lady, and just about to give birth too in 2 weeks. So I'm going to
Oh,
be a granddad.
congratulations.
Yes, I'm
That's
really looking
wonderful.
forward.
And I believe
Thank you.
she's got her own restaurant now, which is a
Mm,
French Italian mix.
that's right. Yeah. So you know, you know, she was a wonderful child growing up, and but she always said, you know, I want to be a chef, I want to be a chef. And we kind of tried to dissuade her, but no, that was her goal. That was what she wanted
It's
to
in
do.
the blood.
And yeah, I think so. And she has an exceptional palate and a great eye and a great work philosophy as well. And to see her flourish and to see her, you know, work so hard to where she is now with her own restaurant with Diego, her husband, and that restaurant was doing so well. You know, brilliant. You know, in her first year, actually getting a little bit of a profit. So you know, you can prove that it was a healthy business. And then this happens. So you know, but it's not going to change anything. You know, you know, in my eyes, she is the you know wonderful for me. That I'm so proud of her and so proud of what they've achieved. Anyway, so.
Yeah, so it's a fantastic success story for family and for your business.
Mm.
There's so many budding chefs that aspire to walk in your shoes. What kind of advice would you give them?
Gosh, I think it's advice such as just never give up and be curious.
Mm,
You know, you can't be a great chef, and I think this applies to most jobs as well. You have to be curious.
yeah,
Don't you know? Don't just take it for granted that that recipe is the only way that you can make a dish. Be curious, be adventurous, and don't be afraid to mess up because that's how you learn. You learn by your mistakes.
you once said that you wanted to cook for Eric Cantona. Did that ever happen? I was so curious about that.
Unfortunately, it's still not materialized. But hey, you know, you never know. It may happen. I've
Well, I
cooked
was
for.
surprised you chose a football over rugby because you're a massive rugby fan.
Yeah. Well, I'm a huge Man United fan and football. I love football, but I'm a huge rugby fan, as you know too. And I've cooked for some very well known football players, football stars, football managers, and likewise rugby players. But yeah, King Eric. I mean, one day.
You never know soon. Um, so would a perfect Sunday consist of watching rugby or watching sport?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. absolutely. That is one thing which I'm missing a lot, and that's going to the rugby, going to Harlequins, the Stoop, and watch a good game of rugby, and have a glass of wine with some friends. And again, it's socialising, isn't it? That's what it is. It's about coming together with friends, friends or family around the table, having a good time. And sport, I mean, watching sport for me is great. Being involved in sport and watching it is a great pastime. So yeah, the football and the rugby I'm really missing. But it will come back. It will, but hopefully it won't come back too soon. I've been hearing on the radio this morning that they're thinking of already starting football again in a month's time. I really can't see that happening. I can't get my head around it. How they're going to be able to do this? Testing all the players, testing all the entourage as well that comes with a professional football team or a professional rugby team, and then playing it behind closed doors. I don't know. I can't see that happening. I can't understand it.
Yeah, it could be quite risky.
Mm.
So other than sport, I mean, Sundays cooking at home, is it yourself or Giselle who cooks?
Well, Giselle is getting lunch ready as we speak, but no. Normally I cook. So we've been having some wonderful meals. Nothing extravagant, People might think because it's Michel Roux, he does lots of extravagant stuff at home. The odd extravagant dish, yes. I mean, it was our wedding anniversary a few weeks back, so we did have lobster, and we went to town on a lovely bottle of champagne. But otherwise, no. It's bangers and mash is very good too, but as long as they're good sausages and a really nice creamy mash. So yeah, it's good food, well cooked, well prepared.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice just to kind of go back to the basics and just healthy eating.
Yeah. Well, absolutely, and that is something without sort of calorie counting or looking at what you eat, or sort of being careful. You can indulge. You can be indulgent and have some really good food without being extravagant.
Yeah, and other than your own, which restaurants do you like to dine out in?
Oh gosh, so many. I'm really yearning for some great Japanese food. I can't wait till the restaurants reopen, and I go to Endo. For example, I don't know if you've been to Endo. He opened last year in White City. My God, it's an amazing Japanese restaurant,
It's been one of
and there's so much. Oh, it's amazing, and there's theatre as well, because Endo, the owner chef, he's such a crazy, and I mean this in the best possible way, crazy guy, crazy character. But he animates the whole room when he describes his food, and he cooks for you and slices this. Oh, it's amazing. I can't wait to go back there. But even Zuma as well has a great buzz and a great atmosphere. And then local restaurants where I live as well. Chez Bruce, the Dairy. Trinity as well. So all of those restaurants, but any restaurant, can't wait to get back in.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, most restaurateurs don't get a chance to eat at other restaurants, so it's great that you get to go.
Yeah, well, I mean, normally any day off, any night off, we tend to go out, and very rarely do we eat in. So actually, no, tell a lie. Normally we would eat in on the Sunday night, and that Sunday night is the kind of eat-in night.
Mm-hmm. So tell me something about yourself that I couldn't possibly know.
Okay. Well, in 2007, I was voted by the all-party parliamentary, what are they called again? Yeah, all-party parliament beer drinker of the year.
Oh, wow!
In 2007. So I followed Freddie Flintoff, because he was the 2006. Yeah. So for me, I think it was all about quality, not quantity. Whereas I think Freddie Flintoff, it was all about quantity of beer that he drank.
So how many pints is that?
I don't know why they judged me. I think they judged me. They gave the honour to me because as a Michelin starred restaurant, I actually served beer and promoted beer as an alternative to wine that goes well with food.
Own. Is that right? You've got
Yeah, I launched a couple of my own beers as well. So, and this all-party parliamentary sort of association still exists. Jodie Kidd was 1 year. It's an interesting list, and there's an event where there's beer served all the way through the meal, and it's attended by all parties of parliament, and you get a proper prize out of a tankard, and it was really, and a tie as well. So it's quite an honour.
It's quite interesting, actually. I'll have to look that one up and see how you actually quantify winning. So tell me a culinary joke.
Okay, culinary joke. I'm not really good at jokes, and they're all pretty corny. But how about what did the French chef give to his wife for Valentine's?
I don't know. What did he give to his wife for Valentine's?
A hug and a quiche.
Oh. It's not a bad attempt.
It's horrible.
It's all right. So just finally, when life gets back to normal, what is next for Michel Roux? Is it more? Are you planning more books or any more TV programs or possibly new restaurants?
Well, funnily enough, there were supposed to be 2 TV programs in the pipeline for this year, but they've all been both of them been postponed, like everything else. So hopefully that will come back. We will be able to film some of it before Christmas, but it's difficult. Yeah, I'd like to write another book maybe, and that would be nice. But what we're focusing on now is really the reopening and how we're going to reopen, how we're going to make it the most amazing experience for our guests, whilst we reassure them that they will be safe dining with us. And of course, it's two-way, because it's not just our guests, but it's also all of our staff, to make sure that they feel comfortable and safe in the environment. So there's a lot to think about. There's a lot to plan. So a lot of my time at the moment is writing lists, talking and to all of my heads of department, seeing how, letting them giving me input as well. So it's working together.
We can't wait to see more of you, and thank you again for joining us. And guys, if you want to see more of Michel Roux, you can find him on his website, michelroux.co.uk, and you can find me on Posh Nosh Gal on Instagram. Thank you.
Thank you.